This edition of Pucks Across Borders on a Thursday morning, brought to you by none other than First Round Collectibles on Sports Addict Live and Total Apex Sports. What's your favorite sport? Hockey, football, basketball, baseball, maybe wrestling, maybe even boxing, whatever it is. Get a sport card related to your favorite sport at firstroundcollectibles.com. And right now, with our promo code Sports Addict, you get 10% off whatever sports card your heart desires. They have an ongoing sale up to 50% off, and with our promo code Sports Addict, not only do you get 10% off of regular priced items, but sales items as well. Go to firstroundcollectibles.com today and find your heroes. That's the number one, STRoundcollectibles.com. Use promo code Sports Addict for 10% off regular priced and sales priced items. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans.
Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Yeah. Oh yeah, the beast back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins, can't relax. Original, I am not the same as
Good morning and welcome to Pucks Across Borders on Sports Addict Live and Total Apex Sports on Twitter, YouTube, all that good stuff. It is so good to be here. Little slow night on the ice. Lots of news to get into from yesterday on this Thursday morning. Happy Masters Day for those who celebrate. Can't wait for my favorite weekend of the year. Playoffs are getting closer. A little bit of meaningful hockey, just not too much to kind of dive into, but we'll get into some stuff from last night. 10 games on the ice tonight. We'll break it all down and give you our best bets as always. But before we do, I'm Mark Sauter, and right beside me at the top of the screen, you read his work about the NFL on Gridiron Heroics. John, how we feeling on a Thursday morning?
Hopefully better than last night with the picks. We got a lot more games to choose from and some interesting news around the National Hockey League as well.
100%. And at the bottom of your screen, you read his work about the NFL on Gridiron Heroics. You read his gambling picks on winners and whiners. You see him all over Total Apex Sports, talking baseball, basketball, football when the time is right. Andre, how you doing on a Thursday, bro?
I'm doing pretty well. Ready to talk about the games today. Huge for the final playoff seeding as we approach the end of the regular season. So I'm excited for it. Ready to dive in.
Absolutely. So on the ice, St. Louis Blues, not even a contest, beat the Chicago Blackhawks 5-2. And that score, quite frankly, is flattering. Based on the first 7 minutes of the game, the Blues going up 4-0 very early, keeping their playoff hopes alive because Vegas got spanked by the Oilers. And that contest, even though the final score was 5-1, that score is flattering to Vegas. They did not even show up to that game. That was all Oilers, all game. No McDavid, doesn't matter. They just dominated Vegas from pillar to post last night. And then the Vancouver Canucks losing in overtime to the Salt Lake City Coyotes. Absolutely just wonderful win for the Coyotes in the midst of all the stupidity that they're going through right now. And my opinions are bubbling over. Facts, not so much. John, why don't you take us through what happened yesterday with regards to Arizona Coyotes, Utah, Salt Lake City, all of that stuff. What do you got for us today?
All right, so I haven't paid attention to this extremely closely, but on Twitter yesterday I saw that there was a rumor that the NHL was creating two sets of schedules, one for if the Coyotes would remain in Tempe, and two if they were going to be in Salt Lake City, which makes me believe they're trying to move to Salt Lake City if things happen smoothly with that group. And I feel like it's going to happen next year because, like we've talked about it on the show once in a while throughout this year, that it's an embarrassment that they're playing in a college arena. I think they're going to want to change that, the NHL, I'm saying, and probably the Coyotes organization itself. Recently, I believe there was a proposal from the city of Phoenix to build an arena for the Coyotes, and it got approved. Well, I shouldn't say that, but there was at least a proposal. I don't know. I don't think it ever got approved, but there was a leak for it. I'm starting to believe that was bait for the Salt Lake City group to like commit and go all in, or something fell apart with the Phoenix group because there were rumblings of that. There was a whole video released like within the week, I would want to say. I don't have the exact timeline or off the top of my head, but I know that happened very recently. We talked about it on the show before, but the Coyotes can't play in the Phoenix Suns arena due to the stadium arena restrictions there. Like, it's more meant for basketball. The hockey rink is too big with the way the seating design is in that arena. So that's not really a temporary solution for them. It looks like the Coyotes are on their way to Salt Lake City. I don't want to say it's confirmed. It's just a strong, strong rumor at the moment. I think this was inevitable personally. Like, this has been an embarrassment for the NHL for nearly a decade now. In the last couple of years, the Coyotes have really been highlighted around the league for issues playing in Tempe. I think that's what sparked this. But Salt Lake City, for U.S. city standards, is on the rise. I talked about this with Mark pre-show and Andre as well, that I think Utah tourism is starting to boom a little bit in the last 5 or 10 years. And it seems like Utah is ready to commit to more sports. They made a serious push for the Oakland A's too on the baseball side of things. So I think they're trying to be the next Vegas. It looks like they might get a hockey team. This is not nearly confirmed. I just think it's a strong rumor. And by all indications, it looks like the Coyotes may be playing in Salt Lake City next year. And it's probably overdue due to the Glendale situation they had going on, which we also talked about before on here.
Yeah, sorry about that. Not a Wi-Fi issue this morning. My power in my whole apartment just went out, so that's fine. No big deal. Of course, we've been talking pre-show for like half an hour, and it decided to do this now. So maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, like, to me, this is one of those things where, and I'm not sure what you already said, but this is just one of those things where it's pretty clear that even if the Coyotes win the bid for land, they're going to have to be playing at the Mullet for at least another 2-3 years. And they just can't have that as a league. So they're going to move to Utah. But then the whole like stipulation of, but if you get the land, you get first dibs on an expansion team, and we're going to go back to Arizona. It's just, this whole thing is just so frustrating as a fan base, because there is a fan base in Arizona. It's just that they play an hour away from Phoenix, and it's like just difficult to get to. But for me, it's like, and I was saying this before the show, like, the future for the Phoenix Coyotes is very bright. And like, the stockpile of draft picks that they have, the players that they currently have, it's a very, very bright future for Phoenix, or for the Coyotes. So the fact that another market is going to reap the rewards of these Coyotes fans suffering for the last however many years is really unfortunate and really sucks to see. Andre, do you got any thoughts on this whole situation?
I'm just ready for it to end. Honestly, it's exhausting. um, just hearing about the Yotes, will they move? Won't they move? 5,000 seat arena. Oh, we have Landon, Scottsdale, Glendale. Uh, I can't even. I'm just gonna not name more Phoenix suburbs, but can the Yotes just please go somewhere? I'd prefer them to stay in Arizona. It's kind of nice having a team down there. But if they don't, can they just hurry this up? I'm hearing about it's annoying. Uh, Discourse is getting annoying, so I'm over it.
And doesn't that feel like that's part of the reason why they're moving? It's just like, okay, enough is enough. Like, let's just get this over with. Now, John, I once again, I don't know what you already said on this show. You made a lot of really good points.
Andre, is it me or did Mark freeze again?
Hockey.
I think. Oh, he's back. Okay.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness
sorry.
gracious. This is
That might
one
be my
this is, no, that was me again. This is one of those shows, boys, already. We haven't even really dove into it. But yeah, so that's the update. Let's just get through this. That's the update on the Arizona Coyotes situation. And we'll see what happens moving forward. Okay. You guys still got me? I'm still here. I'm good to go.
You're good.
All right. So before we get into the games, 10 games on the ice tonight, as we mentioned. I will briefly give you my bad beat. There wasn't too many bad beats. We as a group, 2 for 3 last night. I think we all picked the Canucks -1.5. I think, and it ended up that being the one of the 3 that we got wrong as a group. However, I have a. What's that?
Sorry, boys. 'Cause I think I was the one that went out on a limb and picked that one for the parlay.
Yeah, but I think we all picked it even without the parlay. I think we all picked the Canucks -1.5 anyway. But I will give you my own little bad beat. So I had the Blues to win by -1.5, and that happened. I had Edmonton to win. I had Jordan Kyrou -3.5 or over 3.5 shots. A lot of stuff like that. All those hitting. I had a really great parlay that was like a really, really good parlay that I was really proud of. And I thought for sure it was going to hit. This is what it was. St. Louis -1.5. Jordan Kyrou over 3.5 shots. Connor Garland over 2.5 shots. Connor Garland, a goal. Over half an assist for Quinn Hughes. All of those things all happened. And the one thing that didn't happen was the Canucks -1.5. So yes, in and of itself, bad beat, but Arizona played maybe one of their best games of the whole year. But the fact that I had -1.5 tied to this crazy parlay, it just makes it sting even that much more. Super disappointing on my end. Not a big deal in the grand scheme of things, I think, for Canucks, although the Oilers are coming, and we'll see what happens there. Before we dive in to the games tonight, a quick little update. With the Vegas loss, they stay put at 92 points, and with the St. Louis Blues win, they're up to 89 points now, 3 points back of the Blues Vegas, 3 points up on the Blues. The Kings, who play Calgary tonight, they're 4 points up on the Blues. So we'll see what happens moving forward. We went down like yesterday. We broke down all the schedules, went through what we thought was going to happen. But the St. Louis Blues and John, you were talking about the Blues game and you were talking about how much it doesn't matter and how the Blues don't matter. The amount of emails that I got from St. Louis fans is just, that's why my computer is so slow. And that's probably why my power got shut down, just because people are furious with your comments with regards to the Blues yesterday. But here we go. Let's move on to the games tonight, starting in hockey's capital, the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is what you get for your talk about the St. Louis Blues. We got to talk about your team first. Toronto minus 198 at home against the New Jersey Devils, who are plus 164 on the road. The over is 6.5 at minus 110. The under is also minus 110, plus 1.5 for the Devils is minus 148, minus 1.5 for the Maple Leafs, plus 124. John, Lucky John, what do you got for this game tonight, bro?
This is probably the quietest I'm ever going to be about the Devils. Now that they've been officially eliminated, I don't have a lot to say. I think they're done. I think they checked out a while ago. Take the Maple Leafs minus 1.5, honestly. And I'm telling you this as a Devils fan. So maybe I'm too biased on the negative side. But, hey, it cashed in the last time these two met up. The Maple Leafs won by multiple goals. So I think it's going to happen again. I really do think the Devils are not checked out, especially with Jack Hughes out for the rest of the year. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. Maple Leafs minus 1.5. I think the Devils are well checked out of this season.
Yeah, it's just not even in terms of the playoffs and the standings, but even just the recent trend of both these two teams. The Devils 4-5-1 their last 10, 1-5 in their last 6. Toronto 7-3 their last 10, 6-1 in their last 7. Toronto's just playing some of the best hockey that they've played all year. More importantly, their goaltending has really been dialed in lately, not allowing a lot of goals over the last week or so. So I'm with you, man. I do like this over. It's minus 110 both sides for a reason. I do lean the over, but I'm not 100% confident in it. But I do like the Maple Leafs minus 1.5. I like the Maple Leafs on the 60-minute line. That's only minus 130. So if you're a little hesitant on the minus 1.5, then I do think that the 60-minute line is great value. As far as kind of long shot goal scorers, we all know Austin Matthews. He's minus 140. For him to get 2 goals, I think, is a great bet. He's 4 goals away now from 70 on the year. A long shot bet on the Maple Leafs side. Matthew Nyes has been a really good, sneaky long shot goal scorer for the Leafs this year. He is plus 380. And Tyler Bertuzzi, there were times where he was in the mid 200s, high 200s. He's all the way down to plus 190 now. So if you're looking for some goal scoring options that aren't your obvious, those two guys I really do like. Andre, let's go to you, man. What do you see in this game tonight?
I think John said all that needed to be said about this game when it came to the Devils. So refer to point A and Maple Leafs minus 1.5 and definitely take the over.
All right, moving on to Columbus and Florida. Florida minus 425. Some Columbus money coming in, though. Florida is minus 410 now. Columbus plus 320 now on the road. Over is 6.5 at plus 102. Under is minus 122. Plus 1.5 for the Blue Jackets is plus 124. Minus 1.5 for the Panthers is minus 148. Andre, what do you see here?
Excuse me. The Panthers, they scored 5 goals both times they faced the Jackets so far this year. This obviously being the third and final time. You should expect that again, but their offense has been a bit shaky lately. And Columbus, they haven't been winning, but they've been kind of competing against these better teams. They did beat the Penguins and the Avs back-to-back. Recently, they beat the Flyers 6-2 recently. I know the Flyers are in a free fall, but, I mean, they're not exactly getting destroyed. They were down 2-0 most of that game against the Canes on Sunday. I have this weird feeling that Columbus is going to win this game. I don't know why. I can't shake it. But it's a little bit safer to go +1.5 because it's still plus money. So I'm going to take that instead. I like that Jackets +1.5. Not really in love with the way the Panthers are playing right now. And I think Columbus has been fighting. So
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I mean, Columbus, we all know what this team is and has been all year long. They're 3-7 their last 10, and that's pretty much they've probably been 3-7 the whole season. That's probably what they've been. But I think this is absolutely more of a tell on how Florida has been playing than it is to do with Columbus. And I'm right there with you, man. I don't dispute the but even like -1.5 at like -148, that's too pricey for me. Clearly, the -410 money line is way too pricey for me. So if you're gonna bet a side in this game, then I think the +1.5 for Columbus is absolutely the right play. If you want to stay away from a side here, I think over 6.5 being +102 is a gift. Like, I absolutely see this game going 4-3, 5-3, 5-4 even. I can absolutely see this being a high scoring game. The goal scoring or lack thereof from Florida recently is concerning here. But the over at plus money, I would absolutely jump all over that. But I do like +1.5 as well at +124. What about you, John? What do you see?
I think this is too rich for my blood to pick a side. I don't trust Florida to win by 3 goals because that's the only rational bet you can really make in this situation if you want to go to the Panthers side. But I don't trust Columbus to keep it within a goal either. So I'm kind of torn on picking a side. I think I'm going to go with the under here, despite it being a little pricey at -122, I think. I don't think Florida is going to keep up scoring 5 goals apiece every game that they play. At the same time, though, Florida has such elite goaltending that I don't expect Columbus to do too much. I feel like this is going to be a low-scoring affair on both sides. So the unders, I believe it's under 6.5, like you said before. I think that's the best play here. I feel like there's no way Florida's going to keep up the pace they've been at with the previous matchups this year, and their goaltending is just too good to expect Columbus to seriously put up a number here. I'm not saying they can't, just I don't expect it.
All right, so when you're on the highway and there's like locked traffic and there's a car crash, it's not really the reason why there's traffic isn't really because of the car crash. It's because people just want to look and they want to see, is there blood? Is there a body? What happened? What is it? Is it what's up? What's the damage? And so traffic slows right down because everyone just wants to peek and look like what happened. And that's this next game in Madison Square Garden, the Philadelphia Flyers at the New York Rangers. I just want to see, is there going to be 10 goals? 13 goals? Is this going to be like back to the 80s and just the absolute just ridiculous scoreline again against the Philadelphia Flyers? They are +170 on the road. It was +180. Some Philly money coming in, I guess, which is weird. -205 now are the Rangers. At home against this Philly team. The over is 6 at -122. The under is +102. +1.5 for the Flyers is -142. -1.5 for the Rangers is +120. Andre, let's start with you and your boys at the Garden against the Flyers. What are we expecting from this game tonight?
I'm not going to start with my boys, actually. I'm going to start with Torts and his Flyers because what's going on in Philly?
Oh, man.
I feel like that's it. That's all I got. 8 in a row? Is that 8 straight losses?
Yep.
6 of them by multiple goals, including Montreal, Columbus, Buffalo, all on the road in a row. Montreal again in Bell Center, sandwiched between one of the OT losses, 6-5 at home against the Rangers, even though that was the game they were winning for a decent chunk of it, in a 5-1 loss to the Blackhawks. Rangers -1.5.
Oh, yeah, all day, man. Like, listen, on a game like this, and again, I've been pumping the Flyers tires all year long. You want to see bounce back. You want to see some bite. You want to see some sort of something. But the way that these two teams have been playing, especially the Flyers, how can you take anything other than Rangers -1.5 here? And in my opinion, the over. I'm just gonna keep riding this trend, man. Like Andre, you talked about it. It doesn't matter. Like, let's just say that the Flyers, with the 5 skaters on the ice minus the goalie, let's say they all come out and have one of their best games of the year. Awesome. Good for you. You bounce back. You can't make a save. Like, Fedotov from the KHL was brought into an impossible situation. The whole Carter Hart, like, all the trickle down finally has caught up with them. Samuel Ersson, who has had a tremendous rookie season, like, he dragged them here in certain parts of the year, but he's out of gas, man. This is done. Like you said, 9 goals, 6 goals, 4, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4. Like, you cannot win with this. Like, you just can't. You had a couple. Okay, you allowed 2 goals, 3 goals. You allowed 3 goals, but then you allowed 6 goals, 6 goals, 7 goals. Like, this is over a month now that we are seeing just like an insane amount of goals going in the Philadelphia net. And I just can't do anything but take the Rangers -1.5 and take the over. The Rangers might go over by themselves, and that's not even a joke anymore at this point. So I'm taking the over -122, and I'm taking Rangers -1.5 plus 120 is the only logical thing to do. But of course, we're talking to John now, so maybe he's going to surprise us with some other take. John, what do you got for this game tonight?
I have a different take, but it's not necessarily fully against you guys. I'm not betting the Flyers by any means, but I think I'm staying away from sides on this one. I'm going with the under here. I feel like the Flyers are in desperation mode. The Rangers might get a little lazy tonight. Flyers have a great defense / PK. I feel like goals are going to come at a premium tonight in this type of matchup. And I think the under 6 is worth a play here. Definitely better than what I'm seeing here. I would never bet the Flyers with the way they're playing right now, but I feel like the Flyers are due to hit eventually, so I'm a little scared to bet on the Rangers at the same time. I think the under 6 is where I would lean here because I just have a feeling in a rivalry matchup, both teams have decent defenses and goaltending. I think goals are going to be limited tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say that from the Rangers' perspective, they're only 3 points up on Carolina. I know both teams only have 3 games left, but they want that division. Make no mistake. I think you would much rather, although, well, yeah, because they're going to win the President's Trophy too if they even just win 2 out of these last 3 games. And there's a big difference between winning the division and the President's Trophy and fading even just a little bit. As of right now, they'll play either the Washington Capitals, Pittsburgh Penguins, or Detroit Red Wings. And I guess technically maybe Philly too. That's another side of this that we didn't even talk about. Philly is still in this race, and they can still make it to the playoffs. I forgot about that just with the amount of goals that they're letting in. I forgot that they actually matter still. So that is actually a good point by you that they need to win the rest of their games if they want to get their way back into the playoff picture. But that being said, if the Rangers win out or win 2 or 3 games, then they're playing Washington, Pittsburgh, Detroit, or Philly. I would rather all of those teams than to not win the President's Trophy or not win first place and have to play the Lightning. Like, you get Tampa Bay in the playoffs, I think the Rangers would win that series. But with the championship pedigree that the Lightning have, you don't want to take a chance with that. And so you would rather win the division and win the first place in the conference and play any of those 4 wildcard teams than have to play the Lightning. And the Islanders, I think if they slip down to second place and play the Islanders, I mean, Andre, you'd agree with this. I think that they would beat the Islanders too, but that's a state rival. That's going to be probably like a more difficult series than you would think. Varlamov is playing terrific hockey right now. He's the guy between the pipes for them now, it looks like. And so I think the Rangers still got a lot to play for, and I think they want that number 1 seed, both in the division and in the conference. Speaking of the Tampa Bay Lightning, they play the Ottawa Senators tonight in Tampa Bay. Tampa, lots of Ottawa money coming in right now because Tampa Bay went, and I typed these in like half an hour ago. Tampa Bay is now minus 170 at home. Ottawa is plus 142. The over is 6.5 at minus 125. The under is plus 105. Plus 1.5 for the Senators is plus 166. Minus 1.5 for the Lightning is plus 140. You heard me on the show the last time Ottawa was playing that I had made a personal decision to boycott all Ottawa Senators games. So I am not going to talk about this game. John, we'll go to you first. What do you got for us with Ottawa in Tampa Bay?
Putting it very simply, just look at the line. Look at the puck line for Tampa Bay. It's basically plus 115 or very close to that. I think that says it all. Ottawa has the same strengths as Tampa. Tampa is much better at it, in my opinion. I don't think Ottawa can keep up here. I'm not saying this is a lock. I never will say that, but I think in this type of situation, you have to bet Tampa or you don't bet anything. It's really that simple.
I will say the minus 1.5 puck line for Tampa is now plus 140. So
plus 140?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I think you still made the right assessment here. Andre, what do you take it? Yeah. Andre, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm right there on that minus 1.5. It was plus 125 when I had seen it earlier, so looking at plus 140 now, it's a big jump. What what isn't to like about the Panthers? Not the Panthers. Wrong Florida team. The Lightning at home against this Senators team that sucked on the road all season. Sucked to the point where Mark's boycotting them. They've been shut out twice in their last 4.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's no this team's still playing for something. The Senators team down the stretch has a road game against Tampa, a road game against the Rangers, a road game against the Bruins. They're not going to finish the season strong. It starts tonight. Over, because both teams know how to score. I keep saying Panthers. Lightning minus 1.5 because it's an Amali and they're the way better team, and they already have a 6-4 win over the Senators this season.
And if you're really dying for my take, and you're Mark, we rely on you. We need to know what you think. These two guys, they broke it down perfectly. I don't care. I can't with this Ottawa team anymore, man. They win when I think they'll lose. They'll lose when I think they win, and they just suck, and they're the bane of my existence. I can't stand them. So forget it. I'm done with this team until next year. All right, moving on to what I mean. As far as importance goes, hard to find a more important game than this one. You have the Detroit Red Wings, Total Apex, Dusty's very own Detroit Red Wings, plus 30 now. some Pittsburgh money coming in. These odds are moving like really fast. All these plus 130 now are the Red Wings on the road. Minus 155 now are the Penguins at home. The over is 6 at minus 125. The under is plus 105. Plus 1.5 for the Red Wings is minus 198. Minus 1.5 for the Penguins is plus 164. Andre, we'll start with you, dude. What do you see here tonight?
Massive matchup. You set the stage pretty well, Mark. Kudos to you. Penguins losing streak finally ended at 4 games, but they still picked up a point in Toronto on Monday. They needed that because it kept them tied with the Red Wings, who lost an important game at home to the Capitals. They have 3 of their final 4 games on the road. These next 2 are against a team in direct competition with them and another team that's in a playoff spot and looking to climb one more seed just for the home ice advantage. Talking about your boys. This is also a Red Wings team that's struggled on the road lately, dating back to the beginning of March. They have 1 road win in 10 tries. It was against the Lightning. It was the last time they played on the road at the beginning of the month, but look at the other games, including a trip to Pittsburgh. That was a 6-3 loss. They lost to the Sabres, Yotes. They were not making their money when they traveled. Now they're on the colder side, facing a Penguins team on the hotter side. They have the momentum. They've been scoring lately. They've been playing and beating good teams. They feel that playoff spot. The Red Wings, it's out of their grasp at this point. I think this is going to be a Penguins win. I'm going to take that 60-minute line for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh 6-1-3 in the last 10 games, but points in 9 straight games for this Pittsburgh Penguins team. The big thing that I'm looking at, I mean, with it being 6 and not having that hook, it concerns me a little bit, but I'm kind of looking at the under for this game at plus 105. In the last stretch of games for the Red Wings, and this might actually go against my under take, but when it comes to, so first of all, I'm right there with you. I'm taking Penguins on the 60-minute line, and I might even look at the Penguins on the puck line. I'm believing in this team now, you guys. I'm here now. I think that this team is a team of destiny. I think they're going to figure it out, and they're going to go as far as they need to get into the playoffs. The Red Wings not scoring right now. They've scored 1 goal, 3 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals, 2-0, 3-0. Their scoring's been really inconsistent at best, and when it comes to allowing goals in, they've been okay. They've allowed 2, 1, 4, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1. It's been a little bit inconsistent as well. On the Pittsburgh side of things, they lost to Toronto 3-2 in overtime, as you mentioned, Andre. Salvaged the point there. But they beat the Lightning 5-4, beat Washington 4-1, New Jersey 6-3, Rangers 5-2. Penguins have just been scoring more than the Red Wings have, and they've been allowing less goals than the Red Wings have. And that's really what it comes down to for me over the last week and a half or so, where I'm taking Pittsburgh on the 60-minute line as well. And I might even look at that puck line. I am leaning under, like I said, at plus 105. I'm a little bit more hesitant, but I can see this game being a really close one. 3-2. 3-1, 2-1, maybe. I think both of these teams are fighting for their lives. I feel like you're going to see a lot of feeling each other out, a lot of kind of defensive-minded play. This is not going to be a run-and-gun 5-4 hockey game. I just see this one being extremely tight defensively. So give me Penguins 60-minute line and give me the under. John, what about you?
I'm pretty much going to make this a clean sweep. I like the Penguins 60-minute line myself, mostly because I don't really trust the Red Wings in this spot. I think the Penguins have better defense and goaltending compared to the Red Wings. Red Wings have an offensive edge for sure, but I think the way the Penguins are playing right now and the way the veterans are feeling in this stage of the game, I trust the Penguins to step up. So I think the 60-minute line is the way to go. I'm not quite as bold as you, Mark, on the puck line for the Pens, or sorry, the under. But I think the under would be the side I would go if it's like over under. I don't think I'm quite bold enough to legitimately lock in a side there, but I think that's the side I would lean. If you point something in my head, I'll just leave it at that. But I think my favorite bet in this game is Penguins 60-minute line for sure. So I'm in agreement with you guys.
All right, moving on to another game that is important for one side, somewhat important-ish, I suppose. Actually, no, they lost to Dallas the other night. It's done for these guys. Washington Capitals plus 114 on the road against Buffalo, minus 135. Find this really interesting that they're favored at this much against the Capitals. The over is 6 at plus 100. The under is minus 120. Plus 1.5 for the Capitals is minus 225. Minus 1.5 for the Sabres is plus 185. John, we'll start with you. What do you see in this game tonight?
The Capitals, man, they're giving me some tough bets recently, like which side to go on. I think I'm gonna do a second straight 60-minute line bet and pick the Sabres here. Maybe double down because I went all the way with them against the Stars and they let me down. But I feel like they're gonna come up big here. I don't think the Sabres are mathematically eliminated, so I guess you can argue this is their last mathematical stand. Although I think we all agree they're already out realistically. But they can hurt the Capitals either way, though. Like, no matter how we feel about the Sabres, they could 100% hurt the Capitals tonight if they beat them, especially in regulation. Capitals need every point they can get. The Red Wings and the Penguins are 1 point behind them. I think that's a lot of pressure on the Caps to keep up. Sabres, they may be playing with nothing to lose. They come up big in some weird spots, and I think this line is telling. I think this is a strong Sabres line, and I'm going to back it. Give me the 60-minute line for them.
Yeah, just to clarify, if Buffalo wants any hope at all, they have to win in reg. They can't give up 1 point. I'm fairly certain, just looking at the standings now, doing the quick math in my head, which is not my strong suit. So if I'm wrong, it's no big deal. I think that if Washington even gets 1 point, then Buffalo is mathematically eliminated. That's what it looks like to me.
You're accurate.
Yeah.
You're accurate.
So yeah, I definitely echo what you're saying with regards to that. Andre, what do you got in this game?
Yeah, this Washington team, it feels like when you think they're going to lose, they win. When you think they're going to win, they go on a losing streak. We've been seeing it. They've been underdogs for a very long time. It doesn't really matter the team. And for good reason. That offense, 5-on-5, is still atrocious. In their last, however, was that 7 games now? They have not scored more than 2 goals in a single game. They lost to the Sabres 6-2 in Buffalo to begin this month. This is a team that fortunate to be in a playoff spot. But you know what? They still have something to fight for. And I know the Sabres do as well. But this Washington team, there's something about them. They chip away. They find wins. I'm backing them to steal another 2 points on the road against a team that's just as desperate. It's going to be on the strength of goaltending. This is going to be an ugly, low-scoring game. These teams are not going to score often. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to overtime. But looking at like a 3-2 win for the Capitals in OT for me. So give me that under. Give me that plus 114 for the future Stanley Cup champs.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I agree with everything that John said, and there is something that's kind of whispering to me that the Sabres have a chance to pull out this hockey game. But I just think like Washington, I said this, they lost 6 in a row going into Detroit the other night. And I just felt like they're like this is what they do. It's just ebbs and flows of what they do. They suck, and then right when you decide they're done, they do something and they resurrect your faith in them, or whatever faith is possible, I suppose. So I'm taking Washington here as well. I think that they're going to pull this game out. Ovi, anytime goal scorer, is always something nowadays. Ever since Dubai, this is always something to look at. I think that they pull out this win too, plus 114. And Buffalo, I have a financial investment in your playoff future, but I think it's time to close out the lights, man. I think it's too little, too late, and we'll see you in late August when everybody is debating whether you or Ottawa are going to finally make it to the playoffs. So we'll see you then. It's been fun. Have a great summer. All right, moving on to Montreal Canadiens and the New York Islanders. Montreal, some Islanders money coming in. Montreal is now plus 185 on the road. The Islanders minus 225. The over is 6 at minus 110, and the under is the same. Plus 1.5 for the Canadiens is minus 142. Minus 1.5 for the Islanders is plus 120. Montreal 5-5 in their last 10 games. Islanders 7-3 in their last 10 games. Islanders on a 5-game winning streak. Varlamov has kind of saved their season a little bit here. Sorokin was not playing well, and when he was, it just wasn't consistent. But Varlamov has been playing very well. Patrick Waugh said recently, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have won the Jack Adams Award back in Colorado. So there's some history there. They're riding with the hot hand. Islanders are finding ways to win right now, man. I don't like this Islanders team long term. I don't really trust it. But they're playing good hockey and they're winning tight, low scoring contests. They're winning 4-2, 2-0, 4-2, 2-1, 4-3. I think that they find a way to win this game tonight. That being said, I'm taking the under at minus 110, minus 225. I obviously don't love the price for the Islanders money line. I don't really trust the puck line here either. Montreal's been a little bit feisty lately. I can see them kind of giving the Islanders some trouble. The 60-minute line at minus 130. I guess it's in that kind of sweet spot. I can maybe see myself doing that. But I do think it's going to be a low scoring game. Just looking very quickly, Islanders under, over, under, over, under. Like just lots of unders for the Islanders. I'm just going to keep that rolling. So give me the under minus 110 with a slight lean towards the 60-minute line, but I'll probably just stick with the under. John, what about you?
Maybe one of the tougher games on the board to pick tonight. I think this might be my stay away. I don't think the Canadiens are going to win. I don't think the Islanders can cover a puck line here. I don't feel strongly enough about the total because Montreal's goaltending is very weak. I don't really know what I'm expecting from the Islanders here. I don't really have a great recommendation for a bet here because, we've seen the Canadians step up, but most of the time it's against the Flyers. No offense to our Philadelphia Flyer fans watching this, but I don't know what they're going to do now that they're playing against a team actually in the playoffs.
Right.
But I just don't feel comfortable betting Montreal coming off of Philadelphia because of the way Philadelphia is playing. I don't feel comfortable betting the Islanders to win by 2+. So I just think this is a stay away from me personally.
Andre, what about you?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly 100% agree with you, Mark, on the under. I'm all about it. As far as picking a side, this will be the Islanders' last win of the season, and I think they're going to make it count. So I'm going to take that -1.5 for them.
All right, moving on to visually importance. I'm not too sure, but visually, probably the game of the night, right? Winnipeg, Dallas, both these two teams.
For
Going
best
to-
teams playing each other. Yeah.
100%. They're both going to the playoffs. The division is now out of reach for the Jets, but still, huge game. Will be really fun to watch. Winnipeg is plus 124. One of the rare games where the odds haven't changed in the last like 5 minutes. Plus 124 for the Jets on the road. Minus 148 are the Stars at home. The over is 6 at plus 100, while the under is minus 120. Plus 1.5 for the Jets is minus 205. Minus 1.5 for the Stars. Plus 170. Andre, what do you got in this game tonight?
I don't remember the last time I didn't pick the Stars, and the Blackhawks game is the only time it really let me down. This team is on an absolute tear. 1 point back from the President's Trophy. They're just flying so under the radar. It's kind of crazy. And I know the Jets are a good team. I know the Jets have gotten back on track. They're on a little bit of a roll themselves with 4 straight wins. Going to Dallas is a tough ask for just about everybody these days. And the Stars have beaten this team 3 times already. 3-2, 2-0, 4-1, the most recent matchup, the first time in Dallas. I'm going to stick with it. I think the Jets put up a little bit more of a fight this time around in Texas, but when American Airlines Center is emptying out, it'll be a 60-minute win for the home team. Give me that Stars 60-minute line at plus 105.
Yeah, I can't argue with anything you said. For me, though, I'm just looking at the Jets right now. We're very inconsistent. Like you said, they've won 4 games in a row. The Dallas Stars are just unbeatable right now, man. And like you talk about that loss to the Blackhawks, bad teams beat good teams this time of year, and it's mind-boggling. And it's just the way it is. We see it all the time. Bad teams ruining streaks for good teams. That's just how it works. Countless examples of that, even in the last couple months. When it comes to the Jets, though, they got embarrassed against the Stars in that last game in Dallas. They've lost all 3 games against Dallas this year, and I just don't see them not beating Dallas at least one time. And after that disappointing performance against them in Dallas a week or 2 ago, right? That was recently. I just think the Jets dig deep and bounce back and win this game. And I'm taking the Jets plus 124. I just don't think they're going to get swept by Dallas this year. And I think it's important, like, as you're going into the playoffs, it's important, in my opinion, to win these games just to give yourself some confidence heading into the final stretch. I don't think the Dallas Stars need confidence right now. I think the Jets do. You beat Nashville, it's a good team. You beat Minnesota, not a good team. Calgary, not a good team. Kings, they're fine, but they're not that good of a team. You beat Ottawa. You beat Vegas, but Vegas has been Vegas, and who knows. I think this would just be a really, really good game for the Jets to dig deep, bounce back, give themselves some confidence heading into the last weekend of the regular season, heading towards the playoffs. So give me the Jets plus 124. And I like the over plus 100, something that the Stars rarely do, although they did the other night. They rarely go under the number. And so I'm taking this over at plus money, and I'm taking the Jets plus 124. John, what about you?
I think I'm gonna go with the under in this one more than the side. I don't necessarily trust the Jets to win this game, but I don't trust the Stars to win by 2+. We're talking about the second best team in goals scored per game going up against the second best team in goals allowed in the NHL. So I think it's an interesting clash, and I agree with you, Mark. This game, talent wise, is probably the game of the night, but standings wise, I don't think it matters that much. At least for Winnipeg, I think Winnipeg is locked in the third seed. Dallas,
Yeah.
I think it means a little more for Dallas than it does Winnipeg, which is why I'm hesitant to bet the Winnipeg money line here. What I do think is going to happen is Winnipeg is going to give it their all. They're going to give it a fight, and I think it'll be. I think that under 6 is notable because the under has minus money going on. So I think considering we got the second best goal scoring team in the NHL in this matchup, that should be something we're keeping an eye on. And I think I trust Winnipeg to give it their best shot here. So I'm going to take the under 6 in this game more than anything else.
All right, moving on to the game of the night. San Jose Sharks are in Seattle. Seattle minus 250 favorites at home, which is ridiculous. I know it's the Sharks, I know, but Seattle minus 250, get out of here. San Jose plus 205 on the road. The over is 5.5 at minus 115. Under is minus 105. Sharks plus 1.5 on the puck line is minus 125. Minus 1.5 for the Kraken is plus 105. Short and sweet with this one. Sharks money line. It's not my favorite bet of this game. I just don't think that Seattle should be favored by this much. I'm sure they are for a very good reason. But this time of year, no one cares. On the ice, I mean, it's like whatever. I'll take the Sharks plus 205. They're fighting for some pride. I like the under in this game. I don't think any team really is going to score too much. So give me the under at minus 105. And if the puck line or if the money line for the Sharks is a bit too risky for you, then plus 1.5 for the Sharks at minus 125 is very good value. So I like that bet. Andre, what about you?
This game, I don't even honestly want to talk about it.
This might be the lowest viewed sports event of the year.
Yeah,
like any sporting event.
The Kraken aren't terrible, but their offense is just so sleepy that who wants to watch this game? Like, who wants to tune in? I will give Seattle credit for, was it 10 days ago, going to the tank, pulling out a 4-2 win. I think two of us, if not all three, picked against them in that game. They're back home against this Sharks team. The Sharks are god-awful. They beat the Sharks 7-1 in November when they went to Seattle. So there's history there. I'm going to take the Kraken minus 1.5 at plus 105. I think it's a pretty good bet.
John, what about you, man? What do you got here?
I got one word and one word only. Under. That's it. That's it. Honestly, just nothing else here is worth my time.
I love it.
Can we move on?
Yeah, let's move on, dude. Let's move on. You got the Calgary Flames. They're in Los Angeles. Is this better? The Los Angeles Kings minus 192 favorites at home. Plus 160 are the Flames on the road. The over is 6 at plus 105. The under is minus 125, plus 1.5 at minus 166 for the Flames. Minus 1.5 for the Kings is plus 140. Kings lost to the Flames in Calgary recently. I have nothing really much to say on this game other than I like the over. There's some overs here that are plus money, and I like it. I know that the numbers for the Kings, they've been fine as far as goaltending goes. I know that they are second, or wait, do I even have it? This is how much this game matters to me. I don't even have this game pulled up here. I don't even have anything written down. Where are we here? It doesn't even matter. Whatever. I'm taking the over at plus 105. I'm staying away from the side. But I can see the Flames pulling up another upset here. Don't trust this. This Kings team is like for sure in the West. Maybe not quite in the East, but I probably trust this team the least out of any playoff team heading into the playoffs. I'm just not buying it with this team, man. I'm just not. And so I could see the Flames pulling off the upset, but I'll definitely take the over. John, what about you?
I'll have more than one word for this one, but the same pick. I'm gonna go with the under here, mainly because I like the Kings goaltending matchup in this situation against Calgary. Calgary barely averages over 3 goals a game. I don't think they're a scoring threat by any means, and the Kings are a top 5, top 4 goaltending team in the NHL. I don't see Calgary causing a real threat here. And the Kings, even if they get the best of Calgary goaltending wise, I don't think they're going to put up a huge number where I would worry about this going too far over. So under 6, I really like it. It's a bit pricey with the juice, but I think that's the side you have to go on if you're going to touch the total here.
Andre, what about you, dude? What do you see here?
Yeah, to that I say nay, because the Flames, March 30th, 4 goals scored against the Kings in a 4-2 win. February 27th, 4 goals scored in a 4-2 win over the Kings. December 23rd, 3 goals scored in a 5-3 loss in LA. The over hit the first 3 matchups. Each game had at least 6 goals. The Flames scored at least 3 goals in each one. Calgary, over 2.5 goals for this game is minus 110. I think that's a very good bet. I do like the over. I'm with you on that one, Mark. And I'm going to take the Flames to win, not only because they beat them the last 2 times they met, not only because the offense has consistently found success against LA this year, but the Kings could clinch a playoff spot with a win tonight.
Yes.
And in the face of adversity, after declaring they would not make the playoffs, I will not back down.
Yes.
They're right on the doorstep. I stand for something, and it is the Kings missing the playoffs. They're going to lose tonight. Give it to me. Flames plus 160. This relationship has more life in it, Calgary.
You know what, man? I got a lot to do today, and I'm thinking we're towards the end of the show, and I'm thinking about all this other stuff that I got to do, and it's like, frig, but you know what? That's my favorite take that you just made all day, and I got enough juice now to go for another hour. What do you guys want to talk about? I'm ready to go after that. The Kings have the opportunity to clinch, and they will fail. That's the best thing I've heard all day. I absolutely love it, and I agree with you. All right, moving on to our best bets, brought to you by none other than First Round Collectibles. Right now with our promo code Sports Addict, get 10% off whatever sports card you want in the whole store. They have sales items up to 50% off, and with the promo code Sports Addict, not only do you get 10% off of regular priced items, but sales items as well. You know what that means? That means if it's 20%, you get it for 30, 40, 50, 60. You get unlimited. Well, it's only up to 50%, so it's somewhat limited, but you get a lot of discounts with our promo code Sports Addict, 10% off. Go to firstroundcollectibles.com today and find your heroes. That's the number 1, STRoundcollectibles.com. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans. John, what's your best bet tonight, bro?
One word. Under, bro. Under.
You're making me giggle today. All these laughs that are coming out of me are like very high pitched. It's funny. Anyway, go ahead.
Today I feel like being a smart aleck. Under Sharks, Kraken. I don't know how else you can go about that game. Just, do you really expect 6 goals to get scored between the 2 of those teams? I mean, come on, let's get real. I don't expect the Kraken to score 5, but again, like they did on the Yotes. So yeah, under. I'm done.
Before we go on, with man, I just lost it. Had some breaking news to reveal, and I just completely lost it. Where is it? Anyway, I'll try to pull it up. Andre, what's your best bet in the National Hockey League tonight?
I just want to say I appreciate John because he said under, and I knew exactly what he was talking about without any other context. You made my job real easy right there. I'm gonna dip back in the well, a well that I should have been dipping into for the past month more often, and that is the Dallas Stars' chance to clinch the Central Division tonight, and they will succeed. At home against the Jets. This is a Jets team they've beaten 3 times. This is a Dallas team that's on an absolute tear. They're plus 105 to win in 60 minutes, and I think they'll get the job done. Dallas Stars 60-minute line is my best bet for tonight.
So what I was trying to say before is Jacob Silfverberg, assistant captain for the Anaheim Ducks, been in the NHL for a long time. Only 33 years old, but he is set to retire when this season is done. He has made his intentions known, and Jacob Silfverberg, which if you've been following the NHL for the past decade, he used to be a very, very good player, and Father Time just kind of caught up with him a little bit quicker than others. But shout out to him. Great career. And he is retiring from the National Hockey League. See, that's Anaheim right now. He can't even wait to retire. He's just letting everybody know I can't do this anymore. All right. I got a couple best bets on the docket tonight. There's some that I really like. One of them is the Rangers minus 1.5. I really like that one. The only problem is there is that Philly has been so bad that there is that they can't be this bad forever eventually, but there's only 3 games left, so maybe they will be bad forever. I don't know. It's a little bit volatile with me. I really do like that bet. I think I'm just for the second time this year. I think I'm going to go to my boys against the New Jersey Devils, and I think I'm taking that minus 1.5 against the Devils for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't like doing it, but I'm looking at this board. What you guys picked are absolute locks, and I think this one, although I like Winnipeg, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, my point is this. Toronto minus 1.5 against the Devils. We all made our points very clear. This Devils team is packed up. They're going home. The Leafs still have something to play for. And I do think it's important for the Maple Leafs. And this is hard for people not in Toronto to understand. The amount of pressure that will be on this team in this city come next Saturday, is going to be outrageous. And I think it's really important for you to be playing your best hockey heading into the playoffs. And I personally don't think that home ice really matters that much for the Leafs in their specific situation. I personally don't. However, the fact that you are fighting for home ice, just having something to fight for, something that somewhat matters heading into the playoffs, I think it's really important. And I think they're going to continue to play their best hockey. Give me the Toronto Maple Leafs minus 1.5 at plus 124.
Well said, Mark. And that game is first up using that thing they call a clock. So at 7 o'clock, you can get the Maple Leafs minus 1.5 at plus 124. Then at 8 o'clock, you can pivot to the Dallas Stars 60-minute line at plus 105. And then last, and honestly, probably least if we're talking about games you want to watch, Sharks at Kraken under 5.5 at minus 105. That 3-leg parlay is plus 796.
Love it. Yeah, when you place this bet, just set it and forget it. Watch the 2 other games and then just wake up in the morning and you can find out what happens in Seattle and San Jose. To everybody watching live or later on throughout the day, thank you so much for spending your time with us. We appreciate you. Hit us up on all of our socials. First Round Collectibles, we appreciate you. Promo code SportsAddict for 10% off regular priced and sales price items. Total Apex Sports, we appreciate you. Check out Andre all day on that platform, talking lots of baseball amongst other things. We will see you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.
Go